All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here with Tuesday press conference with Coach Wilcox. Let us know in the chat if you have questions. We'll get started with Jeff Dorado. Go ahead, Jeff.
Good morning, Justin. Right off the top, can you give us an update on Jaden Ott? We saw his name is still with the starters on the depth chart. Is he okay, and will he play on Saturday?
We're anticipating that. He's day-to-day right now, but we're anticipating that.
Can you tell us anything about how he's feeling?
Said he felt great today.
Okay, we'll go to Steve Croner with the San Francisco Chronicle.
Justin, what has impressed you the most about Idaho looking at the Vandals for the last couple days?
Well, they've blown out their first two opponents. They're very efficient on offense, and they're playing very stingy defense. So they operate really well.
Okay, we'll go to Emmanuel Macedo with the Daily Cow.
Good morning, Coach. We've seen a lot from Idaho quarterback Giovanni McCoy. Can you talk to us a little bit about your game plan and how the defense is kind of working on stopping him this weekend?
He's a very good quarterback. He's athletic. He's 72% passer, so he's very efficient. He can throw it. He can run it. He runs their offense very well. So he's an impressive QB.
Okay, other questions for the first round here. We'll go to Thomas Dunn from Right for California.
Good morning, Justin. In your conversations with Coach Soto about special teams this week, how do you walk the fine line between, hey, we just need more reps, more practice periods, versus, hey, we need to take a wholesale look at the personnel?
Well, that's a great question, and those are ones that we have each and every week. There's certain aspects of special teams I thought did a good job. The cover units against some dangerous returners, for the most part, not perfect, but really good effort. We had a couple nice plays on the edges of the kickoff cover and the punt team, and so those are good things. The punt return team, we got a penalty again for the second week, and it was the same person, so we've got to do better there. And we didn't get a lot of opportunities to return any punts. Same with the kickoff return. So our return units, especially kick return, can use some improvement. We got to win up front. And then, the obvious is the field goal, PAT field goal team. And, it is disappointing. The guys are giving effort. We're just not executing nearly well enough on that unit. And so personnel's discussed, scheme is discussed, all those things are discussed when you're not performing.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Seeing no others besides second round, we'll go ahead and get started with the second round. Jeff Dorado.
Justin, getting back to Jaden Ott for a moment. As a coach, when you see a guy with that much talent go airborne, trying to leap over a tackler as he did on that play where he was hurt, do you cringe? Do you want them to stay on the ground, or is that just something that you have to live with?
Yeah, we don't coach them to leave their feet like that. Once in a while, guys will make a play jumping over somebody, and it kind of gets oohs and ahs, but we don't coach that technique. Jaden is always a guy that's going to try and make a play, but generally speaking, leaving your feet, especially against good players, good defenses, doesn't end great. And so we got to learn from that one, because Jaden is an explosive guy. He's got great speed. He can run physical. I think it's learning from that and staying on the ground. But obviously, when a guy does do that, I mean, you run the risk, and so it's unfortunately, we got banged up on that play, and we're hoping for a speedy recovery.
And does he need to be reminded of that now? Do you think he's figured that out based on what happened? And what was your reaction when you saw him hit the ground so hard?
Well, we want to make sure he's okay, first and foremost. Any player of ours that goes down, you don't want to see that. So you want to make sure that they're okay, and that there's not an injury that's, extremely serious. So that's the first thing that goes through your mind. And then, especially on a play like that where there's something to learn from, the first thing is their health. And then the second part when the time is right is you do discuss the decision. And so I think both those points have been made, and we're glad he's doing better.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Steve Kroner with the Chronicle.
Hey, Justin, have you made a decision on your starting quarterback? And if you have not, by what point do you think you will?
We're going to start Sam. We think Sam, with some, reps during the week, can play even better. Ben didn't do a poor job in the game. We're looking for a spark there, and Sam, overall on offense, we just have to be better. I mean, I don't know that there is any one aspect that played well when you score 10 points and you have the ball in the red zone that much. So the quarterback's got to be better. The receivers, the tight ends, the O-line, everybody shares, and so does the defense and obviously the special teams.
Okay, we'll go back to Jeff Ferrano.
Justin, you referenced the O-line. You guys didn't seem to have time to throw the ball down the field too much, and you ran for, I think, 2.8 yards per carry. What did you see when you watched tape of that, and what do they have to do different or better to help the whole offense function better?
Well, the first two were the holding calls that hurt us. We were deep in their territory, and we ended up going backwards. So we've got to eliminate those holding calls because you end up in long down and distances, and we didn't come back from either of those. And then the drop back game, sometimes we got to do a better job, blocking. There's also times we got to step up into the pocket and deliver the ball to the guy that's open. We had guys that were open that we did not connect on, and so we've got to do a better job of that all around. Can the O-line do better? Yes, they can, but so can everybody else.
Okay, we'll go to Steve Kroner with the Chronicle.
Hey, Justin, if I'm not mistaken, you and Aaron Rodgers are fairly close. Have you texted with him? Have you had any contact with him in the last 12, 18 hours since his injury?
No. I know Aaron, I heard last night there was a significant injury, or potentially, and I haven't heard any more today. We just got in from practice, but we're wishing him and the other Bears out there, health, and if he is injured, we hope he recovers quickly. It's rough to hear.
Okay, we'll go back to Emmanuel Macedo with the Daily Cal.
Yeah, Coach, across these last 2 weeks, your secondary has tallied 4 interceptions. What do you want to see from the defense this weekend against what seems to be a very explosive Idaho offense?
Stops, run defense, playing the ball when it's in the air in the pass game, doing a good job against a very efficient offense, a really good quarterback. They got a tall wideout. They got good running backs. They got a big play guy who's also a returner. So this is a good offense. And it'll be, like I said, they've blown out their first 2 opponents seemingly with ease. And it'll be a really good challenge for our defense. So what we're looking for is stops and trying to take the ball away.
Okay, we'll go back to Jeff Ferrano.
Yeah, Justin, picking up on that, a lot of fans will probably look at an FCS opponent and see it as an easy one on your schedule, but are these guys not only much better than people think, but they look like a really confident team out there, the way they went into Nevada and took care of them?
They are a confident team. That's how they play. I keep saying it, but they know what they're doing. They're coached well. Coach Jason X is a very good coach, and the QB's playing at a high level. Defensively, they don't give up much at all, and so it'll be a great challenge for us. I mean, it will. So they have our full attention. There's no doubt about that.
It looks like they use some razzle-dazzle stuff, some trick stuff now and then. I think they had a double pass the other day. How much do you have to be aware of that, and how much do you guys have to be on the lookout for something unexpected? Yeah,
we'll see one, and it's the odds are, Jeff, it's not the one that you've seen on tape. And so I think it all goes back to playing your rules, angles, who plays on top, who plays low, all those different things, accounting for eligibles, leverage, for reversing the field, all those things matter. But you know, it goes back to playing good football as opposed to, you know, if we sat here and said, hey, you got to watch the reverse and watch the double pass, watch the screen, watch the draw. I mean, you know, you got to play good football and play your rules and, you know, handle your assignments well. That's how you defend trick plays.
Gotcha. Last thing about Jaden, would he, if he's playing, would he be on any sort of a snap count, or is it too early to know that?
Yeah, it would be too early to know that.
All right, thanks.
Okay, we'll go back to Thomas Dunn, right for California.
Justin, it looked like Maven Anderson was a pretty late scratch in the week. Is his status just day to day, week to week, or how do you?
Day to day. He was out there.
Okay.
He was out there practicing today.
Okay. And then lastly, what does Idaho wide receiver Hayden Haddon show you on tape? Because he just looks like an absolute game wrecker for any defense.
He's tall. He attacks the ball. You know, I always, especially those taller wideouts, you judge them off the quote-unquote, people call them 50-50 balls, but when they're throwing them to him, they're not 50-50. You know, they've been 80-20 or 90-10. And so he attacks the ball in the air. He can catch and run it. He's put up really good numbers, and he's a good football player.
Thank you.